We are the Beis Din of Yerushalayim, and we have passed that all Jews around the world have an obligation, a chiyuv right now.
They said the Third Temple was centuries away, but right now, in Jerusalem, the priestly garments are finished, the sacred vessels are complete, and a trained high priest is quietly standing by. Red heifers, the final requirement for temple purification, are alive, guarded, and almost old enough for sacrifice. These aren't rumors or symbolic gestures. This is physical preparation, already in motion. For the first time in nearly 2,000 years, Israel has everything needed to restart the ancient system that once defined its covenant life. And according to Daniel, once sacrifices begin again, something far greater and far darker will follow. Most people have no idea how close this is. Some still believe the temple is only a dream, a distant idea. But the pieces aren't being imagined, they're being put in place, quietly, deliberately. And when the first step is taken, everything that follows will move fast. But none of this started overnight, and the story of how we got here is just as prophetic as where we're headed. The silence after destruction. When the Second Temple was destroyed in 70 AD, the entire priesthood system collapsed overnight. The Holy of Holies went silent. The altars were buried in ash. For almost 2,000 years, no high priest stood before God on behalf of Israel. No sacrifices were made. No temple stood on the mount. What once defined the nation became only a memory and a promise. Most believed it was gone forever. But prophecy never said the story ended there. Daniel didn't stop at destruction. He spoke of a return. And Jesus warned that in the last days, something would rise again in that same place. The silence was never the conclusion. It was the pause before the final act. But prophecy needed more than a temple. It needed a nation, reborn from nothing. The nation that shouldn't exist. In 1948, Israel rose from the ashes of exile and war. A nation that had vanished for nearly 2,000 years suddenly stood on the map again. No people group in history had ever returned to their land after so long, yet Israel did. Then, in 1967, during the Six-Day War, something even more shocking happened. Jerusalem was taken back. The city of David, the heart of prophecy, returned to Jewish hands for the first time since ancient Rome. These weren't coincidences. These were prophetic checkpoints. Daniel spoke of a people and a place. Jesus spoke of signs and seasons. And once Jerusalem was restored, preparations that had been impossible for centuries became possible again. But a temple can't rise without the people trained to serve inside it.
Don't forget to subscribe if you want more exciting content like this. Give this video a like and share this message with others. Your support helps us grow, and we'd love to have you with us on this journey.
The return of the priests. For decades, the Temple Institute in Jerusalem has worked quietly and relentlessly. Their mission isn't theory, it's preparation. They have gathered men from the tribe of Levi, real descendants of Aaron, and trained them in the ancient ways. These aren't actors in costumes. These are priests who know the laws of sacrifice, purification, and temple service. Their garments are woven. Their rituals are rehearsed. Their lineage has been traced, and now, after nearly 2 millennia, one of them has been chosen as a high priest in waiting. His name isn't public, but his preparation is complete. He's not practicing anymore. He's ready. But priesthood alone can't open the doors of the temple. Something else was required. The vessels are finished. Inside secure locations in Jerusalem, the sacred tools of worship have been recreated to biblical specifications. The golden menorah stands ready. The table of showbread is complete. The incense altar is finished. Priestly garments woven with exact ancient detail are prepared for use. Even the outer model of the Ark of the Covenant has been constructed. These items aren't museum pieces, they're part of an active temple plan. Every object speaks of a future moment when sacrifice, prayer, and ritual will return to the mount. The blueprint is not imaginary, it exists in gold, fabric, and stone. But even with vessels and priests prepared, something else remained untouched for 2,000 years: the red heifer countdown. According to Numbers 19, no sacrifice can begin without purification from the ashes of a perfect red heifer, unblemished, never yoked, entirely red. For generations, none could be found, but now several candidates exist. Some were even brought from Texas to Israel. They are being guarded and inspected daily. One white hair could disqualify them, yet as of now, some remain eligible. In just a short time, one of them will reach the required age. When that happens, the ashes can be created, and when the ashes are ready, so are the priests and the temple grounds. But prophecy says the sacrifices won't last long once they begin. Daniel's final countdown. Daniel 9:27 describes a future covenant lasting 7 years. In the middle of it, at the 3.5-year mark, the sacrifices will be stopped. That means they must first start again. And for them to start, a priesthood, a high priest, and a purified temple space must be ready. Those conditions no longer belong to the distant future, they belong to right now. The text also warns of the abomination of desolation, when an enemy will desecrate the holy place. Jesus echoed this in Matthew 24, pointing to the same sign, in the same location, the Temple Mount. But something else is quietly being set in place, and it isn't human. Rising tension and global pressure. The political landscape around Jerusalem is shifting. Nations are pushing peace deals, land divisions, and religious access agreements. Talk of a covenant involving Israel and many nations is no longer speculation, it's strategy. And the moment a political green light is given, the pieces already prepared will move fast. The world may not see it coming, but prophecy watchers understand the pattern. Pressure creates opportunity. Opportunity triggers fulfillment. But prophecy was never meant to create panic. It was meant to prepare the faithful. A call to readiness. The message isn't fear what's coming. The message is recognize the signs. Jesus is presented in Scripture as the ultimate high priest, the one who fulfilled what the temple foreshadowed. No sacrifice, vessel, or priest can replace what he already finished. But prophecy still has chapters to close, and this one is nearing its moment. The return of the priesthood, the temple vessels, and the red heifer are reminders not of panic, but of timing. And timing means preparation. But once the first sacrifice is made, the countdown won't be silent anymore. The edge of prophecy. When the ashes are ready, when the high priest steps forward, when the vessels are lifted into use, everything Daniel saw will begin to fall into place. The Antichrist won't stop what hasn't started. The abomination won't strike an empty mount. The prophetic clock doesn't tick in theory, it ticks in action. And that action is nearly at the doorstep. The signs don't whisper anymore. They point. They align. They push everything forward. And when it happens, most of the world won't understand what began or what's about to be interrupted. Because the next sound on the mount may not be discussion. It may be sacrifice.